So, what if healing isn't actually about fixing something that's broken inside of you? Today, we're going to explore a really powerful idea that kind of flips the whole conversation on its head. It's about gracefully letting go of a version of yourself that, well, you just don't need anymore. I think a lot of us know this feeling, right? Deep down, this sense that there's something fundamentally wrong with us, something that we need to fix. But what if it's all based on a total misunderstanding of who you really are? And boom, there it is. This is the core idea that changes absolutely everything. That feeling of being broken, it's not a flaw. It's loyalty. It's you being loyal to a past self, a self that was expertly, brilliantly crafted for one specific purpose: to survive. Okay, so let's unpack that. What is this survival self? Where did it even come from? And what's it really made of? The answer? It might actually surprise you. This completely redefines what we think of as personality. We tend to see it as this solid core part of us. But this perspective says, no, wait a minute, it's actually something else. It's more like a collection of protective strategies built up from memory and conditioning over years and years. Just think about it. At some point way back when, your inner world, your mind, your body, it learned exactly what it needed to do to navigate your world safely. It was a totally necessary adaptation to your environment at the time. And it learned some very specific skills, didn't it? It figured out precisely when to stay quiet to avoid a fight, when to adapt your behavior to fit in, and even when to just make yourself smaller so nobody would notice you. These weren't random, they were survival tactics. So here's the crucial point. That version of you, it deserves honor, not judgment. It did its job perfectly. It kept you safe. It got you to where you are right now. It was a brilliant and necessary creation for its time. And this is where the really profound shift happens. Because if that old self isn't a flaw, well, then you can't fix it. The real goal is something way gentler and honestly, a lot more liberating. See, the old model of fixing ourselves keeps us stuck in this endless cycle of struggle, right? Always feeling like we're not good enough. But releasing, that reframes the whole process. It's not about a flaw anymore. It's just about a function that you don't need anymore. It's this gentle process of just letting go. Ugh. I love this metaphor. It's so perfect. It's not that you've done anything wrong. You've just grown. And that old way of being, that old identity, it's just gotten too restrictive, too tight. It's simply time to shed it. And here's the paradox, right? The very thing that once gave you safety can become the thing that limits your freedom. That shell was absolutely essential for a time, but you were never meant to stay inside it forever. Okay, so if we're not fixing or fighting, how does this change actually happen? Well, it's not some dramatic, loud battle. It's a quiet, internal journey. Here's what so many of us get wrong. We try to force that old self out. We try to reject it or even hate it, but all that does is strengthen its grip. You can't fight a part of yourself into submission. That's just another survival tactic. The real magic, the real agent of change, is just awareness, a gentle, non-judgmental noticing of these old patterns when they pop up. You just see them for what they are, old armor from a battle that's been over for a long, long time. And as you just practice this awareness, this subtle shift starts to happen. First, you stop repeating the old patterns. You notice the impulse and you pause. Then, you stop reacting from that old place of fear. You feel the urge and you breathe. You stop defending the old stories. And in that little space you create, you finally begin to choose. So let's talk about the destination of this journey. What happens when we really start to release this old identity? What do we find on the other side? So we come right back to this central theme. This whole thing isn't about becoming a better, improved version of yourself. It's about letting go of the patterns and defenses that were never really you in the first place. And we have to talk about the biggest fear in this whole process, that if we let go of these core parts of our personality, we'll have nothing left, that we'll just lose ourselves completely. But the exact opposite is true. You don't lose yourself. You remember yourself. You remember the self that was there all along, just kind of waiting underneath all those layers of protection. And that act of remembering, of reconnecting with your authentic way of being, that is the very definition of inner freedom. It's the freedom to finally live, not just survive. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Looking at your own life, at your own patterns of protection, what skin no longer fits you? What shell is now limiting your movement? What are you ready to gently and with gratitude release?